Welcome to the first of two webinars on the Draft Delivery Program for 2022 to 2026. I'm Caroline Foley, Executive Manager Financial Planning and Systems, and I work with teams across our organisation to ensure that Council's budget and long-term financial plan allows us to be sustainable and resilient. This webinar focuses on the draft budget for the next financial year. I'll talk about where Council's money comes from and how expenditure has been planned for the next 12 months. At the end of this presentation, I'll also let you know where you can find out more information and how you can make a submission. Each year, Council develops a budget to provide infrastructure and services for the benefit of our community. Our planning this year is through a lens of resilience and recovery. The impact of COVID-19 on our budget over the past 3 financial years has been significant. Going into the pandemic, our financial position was strong enough to absorb the impact on our operations and also provide additional support for our community and businesses when they needed it the most. With prudent expenditure and regular reviews of our service delivery, we have survived. Now's the time to balance the budget and rebuild our funds so we're in a position to respond to future shocks. The December election of a new group of councillors has given us the opportunity to review and reflect on the long-term financial plan which underpins this budget. Our revised plan is based on financial objectives and includes forecasts to ensure that our council remains financially sustainable and able to withstand external shocks such as further natural disasters and pandemics into the future. The revised long-term financial plan is currently on exhibition and is accessible on our website. The budget 22-23 is a balanced budget. We have forecast income of $392 million and operating expenses of $358 million. When we take away the $24 million in grants income that funds capital expenditure, we achieve an operating surplus of $9.4 million. The surplus from the operating budget will in part fund new community assets in the Capital Works program and be applied to paying down $5 million in loans. Since 2016, Council will have repaid $77 million in debt inherited from the former councils. A responsible capital works program that puts the renewal of our community assets at its heart has been prepared for the 22-23 financial year. We're responsible for $3 billion in infrastructure assets, $2.5 billion of land, and $120 million in other assets, including library resources and plant and fleet across the northern beaches. We plan to spend $44 million of our budget on their management through our asset renewals program. The budget for new assets is $41 million, which is earmarked for priority projects identified through Council's existing plans and through community engagement. If you'd like to learn more about our proposed Capital Works program for next year, please watch the second webinar in this series. This donut chart illustrates the sources of income that fund our council. The dark pink, yellow and orange slices of the chart make up income from user charges and fees and other revenues and income. This is generally money raised through the different services the council offers for a fee, such as Lakeside Holiday Park, childcare, community centres, parking stations and aquatic centres, along with property leases and licences. At $93 million, this is 23% of our income. 10% of our income comes from grants and contributions for operating and capital projects across the council. 5% of our income comes through Kimbriki and is used to manage and operate the Kimbriki Waste Facility. Council also receives income from investments and the sale of assets, like replacing plant and fleet items. The majority of our income comes from our ratepayers. Through rates and annual charges, you can see that's 60% of our income on this slide. It's a very important part of funding Council's operations. With rates being a significant portion of our income, the setting of rates is very important. Each year, the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, or IPART, proposes a maximum percentage rate increase for all councils. This number is called the Local Government Cost Index, or you might have heard it being called the rate peg or the rate cap. For 22-23, the proposed increase has been set at 0.7%, which is inconsistent with the projections in our long-term financial plan. If it were applied, the 0.7% rate increase results in additional $1.2 million in income, which is $3 million lower than we expected to fund the impact of inflation on our costs. In recognition of the impact such a low rate peg would have on councils, the Minister for Local Government has allowed councils to apply to IPART to maintain the level of rates income growth anticipated in their 21-25 delivery program for the 22-23 financial year. For Northern Beaches Council, the rate increase from our long-term financial plan is 2.4%, which results in an additional $4.2 million in rates income. That's $3 million more than the 0.7% rate peg. This equates to an approximate increase in average residential rates of $37 for the year, which is $26 higher than the 0.7% rate peg. Applying to maintain the 2.4% rates increase specified in our program will enable us to cover the annual increases in costs that council incurs in delivering our existing services and maintaining our assets. Without it, we would need to cut our capital expenditure program back, which would further impact our backlog of assets requiring work. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost Council $46 million and resulted in the deferral of many projects. This budget relies on maintaining the level of rates income anticipated in the 22-26 delivery program for the next financial year and future years to support the level of asset renewal expenditure planned to continue to improve the condition of our community assets. Our application is currently being assessed by the IPART and open to public submissions through their website. Council has a strong focus on sustainability across the quadruple bottom line of its environmental, social, civic and economic services. In terms of our own economic sustainability, we're building financial resilience through ensuring that our decisions are based on sound analysis. We also ensure that our risk management systems are in place to keep us operational and agile in response to all circumstances. Our combined operating expenses and capital works program in 22-23 is $443 million. This slide shows the planned expenditure for each $100 of that budget. If you would like to know more about this, go to the Your Dollars at Work fact sheet available on our project page. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. To find out more, please download and read the documents or view the localised snapshots so you can see what's planned for your area in 22-23. Please complete the online form and share your feedback with us. It will be reported to Council in June, so get online now. We look forward to hearing from you.